And Allah, He put it in my heart to try to find out if it's possible to travel faster than the speed of light. Because I wanted to time travel. And I started researching different books. I went to the library, I used to go online. And to cut a long story short, I came to the conclusion that you cannot. But there was one problem with my final verdict, and that was those people who predicted the future. Because how is it possible that someone can accurately predict events that have yet to happen and not know that information because it hasn't yet existed?
تعرف أندرو في مدينة سلاو على صديق له اسمه عمرو، وهو بريطاني مسلم من أصل باكستاني. فأخبر عمرو أندرو أن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم كان يتنبأ بالمستقبل، فأهداه كتاب يتكلم عن الإسلام. اسم هذا الكتاب دليل الإسلام المبسط.
Andrew, he liked to read, so I thought, I can't give him Quran because it's too big for him. So I thought I'd give him a smaller book, which was the brief illustration of Islam.
The first thing I remember reading was an ayat where Allah, in Surah Al-Mu'minun, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions how He created man from a sensitive drop of blood. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created man from something alaq, which in the translation I read, it meant a leech, which attaches a blood clot. And something suspended, maybe from something above, For those who might be listening to this, I want them to go and find out what a leech is. And go find out what a leech does. And go find out how a leech lives its life, And then go look at the human embryo. Because I already knew about leeches. I knew that this could be from anyone, it could not be from anyone else except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because how a leech works is it attaches itself to a host, It's like a parasite. So it'll attach itself to the host victim and it will extract the blood. And that blood, when it enters into the leech, it does not clot. It clots because it's not circulating. And when you try to remove the leech, you can't. The best way is to burn them off, a'udhu billah, or to pull them off. Or to let them have their drink and then they'll come off naturally. Now, how Allah created the man in its very first stage, because Allah created man in stages. The first stage is the alaq stage. Allah makes man attached to the womb of the mother. And then we will establish a connection between our mum, which will later on become our umbilical cord, But in this first stage, we attach and we make that connection. That's the first thing we do, Then we extract blood from her, and that blood inside us clots, because we have no heart yet to pump the blood to circulate it. And when mum goes jogging, we do not fall off. When she goes up the stairs, we don't fall off, like the leech. And we will fall off or come out when our time is run out, just like the leech. The first thing I questioned was, is this Quran as old as you say it is? In the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they could have an opinion.
بعد هذه الآيات والدلائل انشرح قلب أندرو للإسلام، ولكنه كان مترددا بالإقدام على النطق في الشهادة. وفي يوم من الأيام
So this is where I called Brother Jawad and I said there is a brother here who's willing to take Shahada, but he's afraid of what his family will say.
And Umar told me, who was his friend, he said, this guy is very close to Islam, very close, he's curious about it. So I said to my friend Umar, I said, well, if he's very close, we need to talk to him. It's very important that we need to talk to him. And one particular weekend, we all got together and we went for a little jog because we were doing Keep Fit.
I kind of didn't want to go, but he convinced me and we went. And him and his friends, they went ahead. And I was at the back. They were gone. And another man, his name is Jawad, he was at the back. He's like me, he's not fast,
So we went to the park and we were running. And I said, look, brother, I can't keep up with them brothers. So I said, look, if I can't run with you in the dunya, I'll ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so we can either run or fly together in paradise, inshallah.
And my child inside me said, who doesn't want to fly? I said, I want to fly. So when we went back to my home, I said to him, you know, if I believe in Islam in my heart, but I don't, you know, become Muslim, will I still go to this place, Jannah? He said, no. I said, why not? He said, because you have to have three things for your iman to be full. You have to have on your tongue, in your qalb, and in your action, your actions of a believer, in your salat, So I said, so if I go outside and a bus hits me, do I go to Jannah? He said, la. I said, what do I have to do then? He said, you have to say some words. I said, tell me them, I will say them now, quick.
And I said, what's in your heart? Just say it on your tongue. Say it on your tongue, bruv. And he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله.
And we embraced him as our brother. And from that day onwards, he's been my beautiful brother ever since, inshallah. I love him for the sake of Allah. And I hope Allah Azza wa Jal allows us to really fly together in Jannah, inshallah.
اشترك معنا في هذه القناة بإذن الله، راح توصل لك حلقاتنا أول بأول، وساهم معنا في نشر هذه القناة.